intellectual freaks and geeks out there. It is me, of course, Quita, aka Belasian Quita, and welcome back once again to Sin TV Gaming. Now, I have to first and foremost, let's get into Soraya talk, shall we? So, first and foremost, I have to say that I am very, very sorry that I've been postponing this episode. And here's a couple reasons. Well, here's a couple reasons why, okay? First off, I have just been, for some strange reason, my body has just been really, really tired. I kind of go through these phases sometimes in my life where my body just kind of shuts down and I just need to like rest and sleep and I feel like I'm out of energy. So that's the reason why my schedule for Sin TV Gaming has been kind of off. It's been kind of off recently, so I first and foremost want to apologize for that. Now, with the schedule, like I mentioned in my last episode, we're going to be playing games every other day. The reason for this is, of course, you know, I have my exercise schedule that I have to follow as well, keeping myself in shape. And also, too, I've noticed that sometimes my hand gets really extra tired. Because a game like what we're playing today, Dungeon Fighter Online, is very intense, okay? There are a lot, you know, you're really pounding hard on that keyboard, damn it. So that's the reason why also, too, I'm doing it every other day. But I digress. So this is what's been going on. Also in regards to my gaming equipment as well. Now, I did have, and I definitely want to give a special shout out to TTE Sports. I first want to thank them so much for making gaming, especially PC gaming, more affordable for everyday people. I'm sorry, but not everybody can afford Razer. Not everybody can, you know, afford some of those higher end, you know, brands out there that are just, sometimes the prices are so high. Now, don't get me wrong, you can find stuff like Razer and Logitech and another brand that I really love and admire, Corsair. You can find a lot of those things on sale as well from time to time, but it's still crazy expensive. That's just my opinion, okay? So on top of that, what ended up happening was my keyboard from TTE Sports. I had the Poseidon Z Blue version, and I actually ended up getting another one, which is their RGB, which allows you to kind of customize your colors the way that you want, which is just absolutely amazing. So I just said to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get another keyboard. And then what ended up happening, actually, is the keyboard stopped working. I was so sad because I've had this now for probably like it feels like 2 years now. But here's the nice thing about TTE Sports 2 is that with their Poseidon Z, from what I was reading, excuse me, I always get indigestion, you know, it's horrible. But I digress. So with the keyboards that I got from them, there's like a 5-year, I believe, warranty. So I'll have to check into that and maybe get it repaired because I really like that keyboard. I love this RGB one. I love the response time. Now, both of the versions that I have are blue switches. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit softer sounding, then I would go with their brown switch edition. And I also am going to start doing product reviews as well on some of their products. Like, I know coming up, I want to make sure, I want to try out one of their headsets. They have the new Chronos RGB version. I've just been really into RGB for some weird reason. I just like to customize my stuff, you know? So I don't see anything wrong with that. But today's juicy topic of the day. This is probably one of the hottest topics that I've talked about and hottest in regards to opinions. We're going to be talking all about female body diversity in video games. And then on top of that, I'm going to give you my opinion about how I feel about Anita Sarkeesian and her episode of Feminist Frequency where she talks about the issues in regards to female body diversity in video games. So let me know what your opinions are on this. As you can see, my actually, this is what happened. Okay, so first off, this is crazy. So I went through all of the subclasses for the female slayer, and I am no longer a demon slayer. I know, that's shocking, right? I decided to go with the Dark Templar, and here's why. You get a lot more damage, I would say, in regards to the Dark Templar. With the Demon Slayer, you have to really know how to customize her attacks to get the maximum amount of damage that you can. So you're going to see it today, how much damage that I can actually get with her. Now, I am going to be doing a separate episode kind of talking about what the female Dark Templar is, and I'll break it down, also using definitely, if you really want to know more about the subclasses of your character that you have in DFO, you definitely want to check out the Wikipedia for Dungeon Fighter Online, and they really break it down, and it's really, really well done. I have to say so myself here. So yeah, so let's get into it. So last time we left off, there's a lot of story you have to cover here, okay? So first off, Valerina, that's what I like to call her. So what ended up happening is we find out that there's this horrible enemy that is called the Dark Nightmare. Nothing fun about that name, right? And then we got into a cutscene kind of explaining more about this new enemy and what's going on with them. And I'm just to the point now where I actually finished the last chapter. Because what I like to do is when I'm not doing my episode, in between, I do level up. So that way I can at least get I try to level up at least 2 levels every other day. So we're at the point where we're going to have to choose another subclass, because it's at level 15, I believe, that you get to choose earlier on while you're leveling. And then level 50 is when you get to choose the next subclass up. And then you get to choose one more time, I believe, at level 70. So there is a lot we have to do. So without further ado, here is me playing Dungeon Fighter Online while we're talking about female body diversity in video games, because that's something that really concerns me a little bit, you know, because I'm not seeing women of all different body sizes, just like what Anita was mentioning in the Feminist Frequency episode. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not agree with everything that Anita Sarkeesian says. I just agree with, in this, some of the points that she made in regards to, like, what I'm noticing in video games is there's, like, the same body type, and it's just really, it's quite annoying to me, if you ask me. So let's get moving here. So I just finished up the last chapter for some of my main epic quests. So I'm in a new area, actually, and what we're going to be focusing on is getting cloth straps. I actually have to get 200 of them, and I only have 78 right now. Not fun! But yeah, and also too, I have to say, the G600 mouse from Logitech is amazing for MMOs, and even in general, if you're not using it for that purpose or reason, it's actually pretty good. So let's get moving here. Let's see what quest I actually have to do anyway. Okay, so this is my... Okay, so what this is... Yay! Okay, so every time you get into DFO, you'll receive gifts and stuff like that. I'm making sure I take advantage of that experience capsule and all of this stuff. Very important. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, and this is what I recommend, is get your dailies done. You want to get your dailies done, and here's why. When you do your dailies, it also helps you to level up a little bit more as well. So we got a couple side quests and things like that. So let's look into this. Okay, so we have, ooh, a wicked conspirator. That is never good. Okay, so I get one of these, like, cloth armor and stuff like that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll confirm that. Okay, this one I won't do because you need to be at least level 55. Okay, so then this one is, okay, the ancient, as you can see, ancient dark elf sight. So we'll be doing, I think I'll do that one as well. Okay, so let's do the Smash Pumpkin, because what's going on is DFO has this kind of like Halloween fall kind of theme that's going to be going on, I believe, until the mid end point of November. And it's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying, you know, playing here. So let's go ahead and take care of our dailies. That's what I like to do first. I think that's the most important because it helps you to level up. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to level 50 today. I would be so happy. I would totally do a dance if we did. But I don't think, because like once you start getting into the double digits of leveling in DFO, then there's this weird slow kind of grind that you have to do. And I really do my best to do this when I'm not doing an episode. So you know how it goes. But I hope all of you are doing well. Hey man, it's the start of the week. Never a fun time. I know many of you are working. I know many of you are just getting back into what they would say the swing of things. So this is what's called the Tower of Illusion. Now you get 3 times that you can go in here, and I highly recommend that you do because it will help you to level up quite quickly. You'll see what I mean. So let's get into it here. Alright, and I really like the music in here too. But look at these moves. Do you see this? Yes! Alright, so let's just keep going here. And that's why I love the Dark Templar, because she takes care of business. I mean, it's ridiculous how, like, look, I mean, she takes the enemies out with such ease. Alright, so let's get this, yeah, he is really, oh my god. Ah! There we go. There we go. And I mean, just even the main attack for the Dark Templar, very strong. So there are 15 floors that you have to do, and I usually, by the last floor, I'm pretty much done. Pretty crazy. There we go. That's like my favorite move right there. And she is done for. And to dash, honestly, is you just double tap on your forward arrow to move. So, but the Dark Templar has been really amazing for me. And I think I'm just gonna stick with her with this particular subclass for her, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Demon Slayer, but with Demon Slayer, the moves you really had to spend a lot of time leveling. And then the nice thing too in DFO is you can also allow like an automatic customization, so your skill points will be allocated according to the Dark Templar's strength. So that's what I decided to do, and I'm glad I did. So yes, get those points. No. All right, so we're on the 11th floor. All right, and I'm getting a lot of overkills, which is always good. That's like my favorite move that she does. It's just a multiple attack. And the cool thing is, it's like she collects the energy of her enemies and that's what allows her to do those really devastating attacks in the first place. So let's get these two out of the way. And I'm only gonna get stronger from this point, so. And actually, this is the first time of me using the Dark Templar in DFO, so this is pretty cool. There we go. Now this is the floor I really don't like coming up because there's these really annoying like dragons, and the main person you're supposed to defeat is like multiple attacking you, and it sucks. But so far this seems like a breeze right now. Alright, let's keep going here. See, this is the floor I hate. So the key here is you want to get rid of all of these dragons because they're gonna just continue. Alright, yay! So we finished it. Awesome. And then you get a bunch of stuff, and look at all that experience. I mean, you can't beat that, I'll tell you that. Okay, so let's go. Let's go back to town, and then we'll do it all over again. Alright. I have to let my hand rest here for a second here, because it's like, I tell you, my hand gets so weak, I tell you. It sucks. That's what I get for being the Grim Reaper, you know, being old. Ah, it sucks. Alright, so let's get into our juicy topic of the day. This is coming from Kowaku. I love Kowaku. They always have very interesting discussions, and this is called a discussion on female body diversity in games. Yesterday, and this actually came up on September 2nd. So, not yesterday, but yesterday during that time. So, yesterday, critic Anita Sarkeesian published a video about female body diversity in video games. And it was actually called All the Slender Ladies, examines why games often showcase thin, young humanoid women, but rarely feature lady rock creatures or skeletal female priestesses. Male video game characters, she says, more often deviate from the standards of male attractiveness, she explains, which is very true. I mean, if you look at games like, let's be honest here, you look at games like, Uncharted, you look at Metal Gear Solid, you look at The Last of Us, most of the male protagonists are older. So what that exemplifies to me is showing that it's okay, you know, for men to be older and wiser and be more experienced, and you can still be someone that, you know, you can still be strong, you can still have action. But then for the female counterparts, or if there's certain, not all video games, okay, we're not going to sit here and generalize, but I noticed that there is sometimes in certain video games, especially like fighting games, right? Like Street Fighter, like there are a lot of those type of games, you know, like I would say Tekken is another example of that. There's some of the women characters that have a particular kind of, it feels like a carbon copy body type. It's like big boobs, kind of a little bit curvy waist, but not too curvy. And then there's like no butt, but if the butt's there, it's super muscular. So it's either women are a little bit muscular or really, really like very young, as they would say, and very feminine. They cannot have any, and here's the thing, you can be strong and you can be feminine as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, here's the thing that I always say in regards to thinking about this juicy topic today in regards to feminism. To me, feminism is about the equality between the genders. It's not about bashing men. It's not blaming men and saying that, oh, well, it's the men that want this. Not all men like the same body type, okay? Not all men like the same type of personalities, even when it comes to, you know, the, and I'm talking more in the context of heterosexual men, so, you know, but like I always tell people, it doesn't matter what other people think about what you like. but I really do feel that there does need to be change in regards to female body types, because I'm starting to see the same kind of carbon copy. You know, look at my character right now in DFO. You know, she has a little bit more shape to her than what you would see in a lot, you know, in a lot of the bigger, and this is not to say that DFO is not big, because it is. But if you're thinking more from like the console gaming standpoint, I'm starting to see the same body type over and over and over again. And yeah, it is really, really annoying. So she continues on and says, it's as if male characters are free to embody whichever physique best communicates their personality or abilities. And then this is in regards to a talk that she gave in 2015. And I'm just paraphrasing here, okay? I'll have the link below so you can read this article, because it's very, very interesting, you know. And this is well, that was in 2015 when she mentioned that. She did a talk in regards to some of the changes that she wanted to see in video games. And then she also adds, but when it comes to the design of female characters, that kind of imagination or creativity doesn't seem to exist. Now here's the thing. An example of this where I'm starting to see some more change is Overwatch. Because recently they added 3 new female characters. One that is older but still looks good. So, you know, showing that you can be older but you can still keep yourself together. And then they also had a shorter, more curvaceous character too. I believe her name is May, who I love. That really made me feel good to see a bigger person, you know, having those type of action moves. And then there was another one that actually was a woman of color. So Blizzard, thank you for understanding what diversity is in regards to not only culturally but body types as well. But here's the other part of the argument that I felt that Anita didn't really kind of let's keep moving here, of course. But I felt that Anita did not really address too is, I feel personally that the other part of, I would say, the dialogue that is not happening is, it's not only about like the body types too, it's also about the audience, because the audience is going to be a reflection of, if you look at the gaming industry as well, like people are not just going to make video games to make them per se. If you're looking at it from a mainstream standpoint, people are going to make the games according to what's popular, and also on top of that, what engages the audience. So if audiences are going to be engaged by this particular body type, guess what? They're going to continue doing it. And that's what I've kind of learned so far, is that if we want change in regards to, you know, body diversity, then guess what? We have to make sure that we are voicing our opinions. Because here's the thing I don't like is when people complain about something that they don't like, and then on top of that, they want change to happen. And it's like, I'm sorry, but change is not going to happen when you just complain. Change comes from action. So if you feel that a certain body type or a certain game series is not up to par, don't buy it. That's the thing. That's the thing I hate sometimes, is when people buy something that they know that they're not going to enjoy. And I mean, that's the other thing I felt that Anita, you know, did not really add to me personally. And I do agree with her in the video where she did mention that the only way for change to happen is when people acknowledge that the change needs to occur. And then on top of that, to me personally, you also, like what I said before, you have to make sure that you're making that an issue by not buying these games. Like for me, I refuse to buy games that don't support diversity. You know, and diversity doesn't necessarily have to, you know, be cultures, you know, different cultures, but I like supporting games that support different types of skin tones. I refuse to buy games that only exemplify a certain body type or a certain, you know, I like having that cultural awareness and openness. And guess what? By buying those games and more people or millions of people participate and buy these games, then these gaming companies are going to realize that, hey, you know what? These audiences are not dumb. They want diversity in their gaming. But see, here's the thing. The other part about it is you have to talk about it in a way that's respectful. Because the other thing that I notice in regards to feminists, and I consider myself a multicultural feminist as well, is that we can't be sitting, well, not all of us, because I'm not going to sit here and generalize, but some of us can't be sitting here and, you know, bashing men or bashing particular cultural groups or bashing overall, because that's not going to solve anything. Actually, what that's going to do is it's going to reinforce the stereotyping, and then nothing gets resolved. And to me, that's very counterproductive in regards to what needs to be done. So as you can see, I am just going through my Dark Templar is just winning! Alright, come on. Man. He's really annoying, this one here. Okay, there we go. Let's keep it going. Alright. But yeah, I mean, that was some of the main stuff that I wanted to talk about, is that, you know, the only way for diversity to really occur fairly is we have to be respectful with our opinions, you know? When we're being rude to each other, it's counterproductive. And then for the people who do hate diversity and they don't want any change to happen, that's exactly what they want, is they want for people to be very negative and to not... Ah, I hate him. Let's see here. Man, he is really tough. Come on. There we go. Jeez, took long enough. Alright, we did it! Yay!